So, have you ever experienced something so painful that it changed the entire trajectory of your life? Well, I have. And today I want to talk to you guys about the importance of getting unstuck. December 10th, 2014 is a day that I'll never forget. I can remember sitting in the doctor's office, looking at the doctor as he tells me and looks me in my eyes and says, "I'm sorry, there's just nothing we can do." And I remember the tears streaming down my eyes as I got up and I slowly walked to the hospital room where my mother laid with her eyes fixed, staring off into space, and her mouth was wide open as she gasped for air. And I remember walking up to my mother, reaching for her hand, holding her hand, and laying in bed with her. And it was in these moments, these final moments, that I began to reminisce. And I remember the time where my mother taught me how to tie my shoes. And I remembered every time we would go skating and I would fall down, my mother would yell, "Aisha, get back up." And I remembered walking across the stage to receive my high school diploma. My mother screamed so loud, y'all, from the stands. Everybody could hear her. And the day I graduated from college, my mother walked up to me, looked me in my eyes and said, "Aisha, I love you. I am so proud of you," as she handed me 12 dozen roses. But it was in these final moments that I wanted so desperately to hear my mother's voice one last time and for her to look me in my eyes. But she can no longer see or speak. But I knew that she can hear me because our hearing is the last sense that leaves us before we die. So I whispered into my mother's ear, "Mom, I love you. I'm proud of you. I want you to know that you're my hero." December 10th, 2014 is the day that my mother took her last breath. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't angry at God. I spent an entire year depressed, asking God the question, why didn't he just take me instead? I didn't want to live anymore. 3 days after my mom passed away, I was dumped by my then boyfriend that I had been with for 5 years, the man I had given my virginity to. I fell into the worst depression of my life. I could not eat. I could not brush my teeth. It was hard for me to get out of bed. And thank God I had my brother there to help me. So I remember moving in with my brother and I can remember praying to God, asking him to help me. And one day I'm sitting there and I'm flipping through the channels and this movie comes on by Tyler Perry called The Family That Prays. And I remember that my mother and I had went and saw that movie. And I remembered at the end of that movie, my mother took me by my hand and she started singing this song and she looked me in my eyes and she said, "Aisha, if you get the chance to dance, I hope you dance." And it was in that moment that I had to get up and I knew I had to live. And I knew that emotional pain that I was experiencing, that pain, that depression, that anger, I had to find a way to let it go and I had to release it. So I tried therapy and there were things in therapy that I liked. There were things in therapy that I thought were effective, but I knew I needed to get to a deeper level and a level that can help me heal from all the pain and all the baggage that I was carrying. Some of you guys out there right now are going through a time in your life where you have emotional baggage, where you're dealing with toxic energy and pain that you haven't been able to process yet. And today I want to talk to you guys about 3 ways to getting unstuck and share with some ideas with you guys that I believe can help you get to that very next level. The first one I want to share with you guys, and one of the reasons why I feel people are stuck on this planet dealing with depression and anxiety and all these other things, is because they are allowing fear to stop them, fear to get in the way of becoming who it is you're born to be, fear of what other people think, fear of what people will say, fear of you're too old, fear you're too young, fear you don't have the degree, fear you wasted too much time, fear you're living in the past, all kinds of fear. Maybe even the fear that you're not good enough or that you're not ready. But you have to get to a point where you stop playing small and you stop allowing fear to interfere with who it is you were born to be. God said he did not give us a spirit of fear, but he gave us a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. So if you are in a moment right now at a place in your life where you are doubting your existence, you got to remember that you are destined to be powerful. You are destined to be great. So you got to understand that. Remember, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, to be bold, to be beautiful? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people don't feel intimidated by you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are all meant to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we unconsciously let our own light shine, we give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So I want you to remember, stop living in fear. Stop allowing the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear that you're not good enough, the fear of what other people think, the fear that you don't have what it takes to stop you from being a vessel for God and for getting out here and doing the work you're meant to do. Because time is ticking and we don't know how much time we have left on the planet. So let fear be the one thing that you tackle this year on your journey towards elevating and becoming that next best version of yourself. The next thing that I think, and tip number 2 that I believe stops women and men from becoming that next best version of themselves and living out their fullest potential, is a lack of self-worth. Self-worth and low self-esteem keep so many people back, because you don't know who you really are. You don't know how powerful you are. You don't know what you're worthy of. And oftentimes our self-esteem, our self-concept is something that we are molded into in childhood. So if you had parents that didn't love you, they didn't know how to love you, they didn't know how to show you they care for you, they didn't nurture you, they were on drugs, they had an abusive relationship, they were toxic, maybe they weren't present. Understand that your parents had healing to do too, and they just didn't know how to do it. So do not continue to live in bondage and base your self-worth and your self-esteem on the lack of your parents' ability to show you how beautiful and worthy you are. They need healing too. So don't let your childhood, don't let bullies, don't let people who didn't know how to love you, the people that may not have been there for you, impact the way that you see yourself, because you want to start seeing yourself the way God sees you. Stop basing your self-worth and your value on the lack of someone's ability to show up for you and to show you who you are. This is one of the reasons why so many people get into toxic relationships, because they're seeking to fulfill unmet needs from childhood. They're seeking to fulfill loved and validated and needed and nurtured. And so one of the biggest things we have to do is let our parents be free of their mistakes. Let them be free of the pain, because they're dealing with issues too that we may not even be aware of. They have healing too that we don't even know about. So you want to make sure and start the practice of forgiveness. And if you need help with that, feel free to reach out. So that was tip number 2. Not letting your self-worth define and your self-concept be defined by people who didn't know how to love you. Even in relationships, people walk away from you. They don't know how to treat you right. They don't love you. They don't, they're cheating on you. They're dogging you out. That is a lesson for you. You cannot keep basing your self-worth on whether or not a man loves you or a woman loves you. Let that stuff go and base your self-worth on how God sees you. How does God see you? Because however God sees you is the truth, and that is how you want to begin to operate, and that is how you can show up for your next best level in your life. The final tip that I'm going to share with you guys, and I think that this is very, very important, is not allowing heartache and heartbreak to hold you back. There are so many people in bondage right now because of a broken heart. Not getting what they needed when in a relationship, not getting what they needed in childhood. People didn't treat you right. People dogged you out. Stop letting emotional pain, resentment, anger, fear, frustration, bitterness, betrayal, all of these toxic emotions, stop letting these things block you. It's no way God can use us to our fullest potential when we are full of toxic energy, when we are full of negative thoughts, emotional baggage, a toxic lifestyle, bad habits. How can God use us fully? God wants to use each and every one of us. God has given you gifts and talents and a purpose and a plan for your life, but it will never manifest unless you learn how to get unstuck, let go of all the emotional baggage, the mental, physical, and emotional baggage, and also make sure you're not the one breaking your heart. See, sometimes we want to blame the man or blame the woman But you may be the one breaking your heart. You may be the one setting goals and not keeping your word. You may be the one lying to yourself. You may be the one belittling yourself in your own mind, picking on your own self, standing in the mirror, picking yourself apart because the way your body look or your hair look, or maybe you haven't reached all your goals in life. Maybe you're at a certain age right now where you're like, man, I should be further along, and you're punishing yourself or you're beating your own self up. Stop doing that and learn how to love yourself. Learn how to believe in yourself. Learn how to cultivate that relationship with you so that you can elevate to your next best self. All right. So I just shared with you guys 3 tips to help you get unstuck. I hope that these were beneficial. If you feel like you need help in any of these areas, do not hesitate to reach out. One of the ways that I can help you is through my book and my workbook, Girl Heal. You can find the link in the bio. In addition, if you want to speed up the healing process, or if you want to work with me and me be your mentor and coach, you can schedule or book a consultation with me. My consultations are $50, and we'll go over some plans and strategies to help you. All right. And you can send me a DM if you're interested in that. I hope that this blessed you. Let's take a moment to pray and acknowledge God. God, I want to thank you for this time and this space that you've allowed us to gather in your name. I ask that you elevate each and every person on this call right now to the highest level of living, the highest level of love, the highest level of forgiveness, their highest level of abundance, their highest level of health and wealth and happiness, them and their entire family. Let this be the year of their breakthrough. Let this be the year of all of our breakthrough, and let us become vessels for your kingdom and fulfill our highest calling. All right. Amen. I wish you guys all the best, love, and light. I got to go get my baby boy and take him to an appointment. So I'll see you guys soon. Kisses. Bye, TikTok.